Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
You're in the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir. If you were with me on the lunch break, you already know it is not a slow news day. If you're just tuning in, buckle up. We're going to cover everything from a heat wave that's about to test Milwaukee, this city, to what's really in your food, to a civil rights organization asking black athletes to put their futures on the line for something that matters. So we're going to go local. We're going to go national, and we just might poke a little fun at some few people. It's the Grapevine. So let's go. So let's start right here at home. June 29th. Yes, it is. And the heat couldn't kick in soon enough. I couldn't wait for the heat. Because if you went outside this morning, y'all felt it. I mean, you really felt it. It was, it's fire. Zach, you felt that, right?
Yeah, it's too hot out there.
Man, listen, it's going down. It's going down. For me, I'm enjoying the heat. I really like the heat. I like how it gets really hot, but I don't enjoy it for other folks who aren't used to the heat. So if you don't have the necessary provisions to manage the heat, especially in your house, please. This is very serious. Please make sure you go and manage that heat as best you possibly can. I know they have different places that you can go in the city of Milwaukee to get cool. So please go to those places, the mall, wherever you got to go, make sure you get cool, because this heat is no joke. And it's going to hit 230 million Americans. So that's like basically 2/3 of the country. And it's going to be under extreme heat exposure this week. So it's a heat dome that we usually get in the Midwest. We usually get a heat dome in the Midwest, and it happens at least 1 week per season, per summer. So this is probably that one heat dome, or it could be a number of them during this 4th of July holiday season. So allow yourself to make sure that you get into a very cool place. I know they have cooling areas. Make sure you get to those areas. I think 5 or 6. There'll be 5 or 6 more consecutive days above 90. That's wild. So if you got that remote starter, start your car, get that air conditioning going, start your car and make sure it happen. So this hasn't happened here from what the reports are saying. This hasn't happened here, like this type of heat dome and above 90 plus temperatures, and which in terms of heat index could make things feel like it's about 100. So it hasn't happened here since July of 2021, that's a lot, man. Like to have triple digits, that's interesting. So southeastern Wisconsin saw the heat index is going to reach 109. In Kenosha, in the recent heat wave, could get up 2 degrees above normal over the last 5 years. And this is really, really like a silent spiral, a silent killer, because heat in context kills more people per year in Wisconsin than tornadoes. So heat is pervasive in terms of where it spans, and you just got to make sure that you got to make sure you get into the right places to cool down. The heat definitely kills more people in Wisconsin than tornadoes, floods, or any other weather event. So please, I'm asking everybody to please make sure that if you are elderly, if you work outdoors, if you plan to go outside and do what you want to do out in the yard, make sure you hydrate yourself. Make sure that you have the proper material items. Now they have like those neck fans. Get the neck fans, get the cooling vest. Just go to the store and grab something, or ask somebody to bring that over, because it's going to be really hot. So outdoor workers, straight up construction, line workers, first responders, plus kids at summer camps. If you got a kid at summer camp, like I do, you got a kid at summer camp, make sure that you are doing your thing. Make sure you're hydrating yourself and doing what you can in order to get this thing going. So make sure that if you aren't cooling, the cooling sites are Milwaukee Public Libraries, or you can call 211 for a full list. Make sure you call 211 for a full list of cooling sites, or visit milwaukee.gov/cooling sites. But I think, why do we keep treating heat like a weather event and not a policy failure? So in Milwaukee, who are the neighborhoods? We have to find out who are the neighborhoods without shade. I remember growing up, and we had what we would always call them shade trees. And those shade trees were like, for me, I remember on my block, in blocks, there were always like those maple trees, and a lot of the maple trees got large leaves, and so a lot of those trees, either, from what I know, could have been cut down, and or the neighborhood had probably changed, and they probably took those trees down and to make space for the sidewalk. So do we have neighborhoods without adequate infrastructure? Because I'm pretty sure if you go to like an area like North Shore area of Milwaukee, you'll find plenty of trees, because there's plenty of trees out there. If you go to even some of the kind of outer lying southern and western areas, you'll find plenty of trees, and especially in the neighborhoods. But what are we doing? What are we doing to combat these heat weather events that possibly could take people's lives? And what policies are we putting in place in the city of Milwaukee and surrounding areas in order to make sure that folks aren't going to lose their lives to the heat? So, yes, Milwaukee County reached out to Fox 6 about cooling site preparation before the wave, and of course they didn't respond. But the story's right there. You got to let me know. You're going to let me know after someone's in trouble. It's like crazy, man. It's wild. We gotta do better. So I spent the weekend at I'm sorry to say, I spent some of my little time at Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg in the sun like a champ. But not everybody, you didn't hear this sweater. Not everybody has the luxury of kind of getting in the car, finding a cool spot. And that's the real problem in this city. So I need y'all to check on your neighbors, check on your elderly neighbors. Don't just text, go knock on their doors. Elderly isolation is real critical. We have a lot of elderly, and elderly can be above 50. You know what I'm saying? So, or special needs individuals. But please make sure that you are doing your best to check on your neighbors. This is, heat and just them sitting down can be a real fatal combination. So hydrate before you're even thirsty. So if you're thirsty, make sure you hydrate. Electrolytes, get your electrolytes. I don't advocate for, and I'm not the doctor, but I don't advocate for Gatorade. But if Gatorade is the closest thing that you have, or the vitamin water or something like that, grab it and then make sure you drink enough in order for you to make sure that you're hydrated. And for real, straight up, this happens a lot. I know we do it as parents because we want to make sure our kids, don't bother us, but don't leave your kids in the cars. Please take your kids out of the car. I don't care how many you got. You may have 8 in a Le Mans, but please take your kids out of the car and, bring them in the store or wherever you got to bring them. But really, people do this to this day. They still do it, and it's usually hot. Or make sure you take your keys out. I know this guy who it's just an accident. This guy was getting out the car. He had a bunch of kids, and then and as he was getting out the car, one of his kids was climbing through the front door, coming up from the back, and he accidentally pressed the lock. When he pressed the lock, the door's locked. He slammed the door, and some of the other kids that were supposed to come out were still stuck in there, and he had to break the window in order to get into the car. So in order for you to not be in that situation, make sure that you're doing your best in order to stay cool. Also, be super aware of what's going on with your situation in order to make sure that you are cool and your kids are not left in the car. Exercise, please. If you're going to exercise, there's a lot of folks that think that when it's hot, you go outside at the top of the day, but exercise during the evening times or early mornings, like straight up. I know some people get out there, and I don't necessarily always recommend it because, especially in this type of climate, if you aren't used to heat like this, it's going to be hard to go outside and start exercising when it's really, really hot. So try to stay towards a morning time to exercise, and or after 7 to exercise. But I'm going to cover that in our new segment called What the Health, because this is Mindful Monday, Mindful Movement Monday. So when we come back, I'm going to keep it a little bit holistic up here. We're getting into What the Health. Heat is the opener for this conversation. We're going to talk about what extreme heat actually does to your body, trending workouts, what you should and shouldn't be doing, and some myths that have been circulating about how to beat the heat. So stay right there. We'll be right back.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative,
and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Yes, you're back. I'm Manan Sabir. I'm your host of the Grapevine. Right now, it's time to get into something that I do every single show, or I'm going to try to do it every single show. It's called What the Hell. So let's talk about your body, because what you're doing to it, what you're feeding it, what you're believing about it matters. But first, UW Milwaukee Roar program. At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. War Ready lets students in K through 12 join in hands-on programs across campus, from science and tech to art, sports, and more. Students try new things, meet new people, and build skills that matter. Get started today at uw.edu/warready. And looking to discover and support local businesses in our community, then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Bailey Coleman and Homer Blow for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they're located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses and communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Bailey Coleman and Homer Blow. Powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Now, myth number 1, drink as much water as possible in the heat. The reality is, like, a lot of people think that if you're drinking water in the heat, that you're going to be hydrated. And that's not the truth. It's not what you're drinking, it's what's in the water that makes the difference, right? So if you have, for example, there's a difference between having H2O and H3O. Yes, there is something called H3O. H3O is something that is a kind of an enhancement that you get from sources like either flaxseed, I think, and or especially chia seeds. So you can put chia seeds in your water, take the chia seeds out, and it transforms the water into another compound called H3O. H3O is kind of like the mineral, is the brand new mineral of water. For example, overhydration without electrolyte causes a deficiency. So your sodium drops and you feel worse. You really, really need, and I'll mention 3 other items that you'll need, which is sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So H3O, sodium, potassium, magnesium, coconut water, electrolyte packets, or even a pinch of sea salt in the water is way more effective than chugging plain water, period. But that does not mean you should not drink water. It just means that this is my truth, that if you're drinking plain water, is not bad. But if you're adding something to the water, for example, let's say you want to add some of those electrolyte packets or some coconut water or even some sea salt to the water, then you're making it way more effective than just chugging the plain water. So ice baths cool you down fastest is another myth. That's half true. That's very much half true. Cooling your touch points, which are like your neck, your wrists, armpits, with cool water, not necessarily ice packs, are way more effective than way more effective at reducing your core temperature, because that's where your blood vessels are closest to the skin. So like full ice immersion can cause like a what they call vasoconstriction. And vasoconstriction is basically where your veins or your capillaries, they constrict. So, and they trap heat. You should sweat it out. So myth number 2, sweat it out. So if you're sweating, you're fine, right? Not really. Sweating means your body is working hard to cool down. So if you stop sweating suddenly, like if you're sweating and then you stop sweating, like boom, it like in right fast. If you're sweating and you stop sweating during exertion in the heat, that's a sign. That could be a sign of, and remember, that could be a sign of heat strokes, and so or some other medical emergency. So just make sure you are trying to cool down very properly, and you're drinking the right substance at the very least. At the very least, water, yes, but then add something to the water and make sure that you're cooling down. And we're just talking about our current heat dome here in the Midwest. Here's another tip that I want to make sure that you guys understand. Make sure you eat lighter. Water dense foods like cucumbers, watermelon, celery, those types of, even tomatoes. Those are water dense foods that can help you stay hydrated throughout the day. So please avoid large proteins midday, because your digestion produces an internal heat, y'all. Digestion produces a lot of heat. So if you take in meat during the day, if you take in carbohydrates throughout the day, then it produces that heat, whereas you may not be able to burn it off as fast, especially during a hotter temperature day. So traditional cultures around the world, they've always known this. And this is not like anything new to science. It just is what it is. You eat lighter when it's hot, and you try to eat heavier if you're doing something with a kind of a nice temperature. You can do something a little heavier, especially if you're about to burn it off. So make sure that you are cooling down. This is really, really serious. I'm going in because I think that if we don't talk about this, a lot of people are going to miss it. So what's trending now in what the health is hot yoga. I mentioned something hot, yes, and not overheating your body, but in terms of a controlled climate, hot yoga is really cool. It's a nice way to get that workout in. It's controversial in extreme heat weeks, and the studio is like at 95. You're going home, it's 95. Your core temperature may not have a recovery window. However, hot yoga is a great way to exercise. It's a fantastic method to burn off calories and the like. So hot yoga, I like hot yoga. But what actually works in the heat really is aquatic workouts. So if you hit the pool if you hit the Lake Michigan is right here. We got a couple of lakes. This is Wisconsin got a lot of lakes. So if you can go out to lake country, whatever you want to do, make sure you do that too, because getting in the water is one of the best things you can do. Let's see. Getting some cycling in, like early morning cycling. You want to open up those capillaries. You want to open up those pores in order for you to feel good throughout the day. After you work out, if you take in as much hydration as you possibly can, you can make it throughout the day without having to feel like you're working against the heat. So y'all be smart about this environment. I know a lot of people are doing I think what they call like zone 2 cardio, which is like low intensity, long duration walks. Now, it's cool to do that. It's cool. I like especially in this period of time when we're dealing with this heat. Walking for about 45 minutes, 30 minutes, even 20 is better than not. You get outside, as long as you are hydrated, you're able to burn some fat, build your cardiovascular endurance, and you be able to, throughout the day, be able to keep your core temperature manageable. You won't, it seems like you won't be too uneasy. And for those people who post outdoor high intensity videos in 90-degree heat and matching sweatsuits, you're not invincible at all. So make sure you stay hydrated too, because we don't want y'all to crash. So please be inspired. I'm concerned about this heat. Like it's real out here. Y'all might be in the cars and stuff like that, but it's real. It's real, for real. Make sure that you are getting. Make sure you're getting your. Make sure you're getting out there and getting a little bit of walking, a little bit of exercise, but not too much. Not too much when the heat is this hot. Wait to the ends of the day. So that's your what the health for today. Take it seriously. Apply it today, and check on each other. We're about to take a quick break, but when I come back, I'm gonna tell you about Black athletes, college sports, and a fight that goes way deeper than a game. We'll be right back.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Welcome back on the Grapevine. All right, so college sports, the NAACP, and a question that doesn't have a comfortable answer. Let's do it. So the NAACP launched the Out of Bounds campaign urging black athletes, recruits, alumni, and fans to withhold support from major public universities. In states restricting black voting rights through like what they call gerrymandering. Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The connection to the SCORE Act is a college sports bill meant to the SCORE Act is a college sports bill that's meant to standardize athlete NIL contracting rights. So the Congressional Black Caucus has supported it, then flipped their opposition because the SEC, was the sports governing body, the sports governing body for some of the college sports, and the ACC refused to take a stance against the Republicans redistricting in their states. So I'm gonna ask everybody if you want this bill, then speak up, right? The NAACP's NBER quote: black athletes should not be asked to generate wealth, prestige, and power for state institutions, while those same states strip political power from black communities. So black athletes should not be asked to generate wealth, prestige, and power for state institutions, while those same states strip political power from black communities. The transfer portals for football and basketball are closed until 2027. And the real leverage is on high school recruits deciding right now where they're going to go in the fall, 2027. So this is very, very interesting because you're using black athletes as pawns. The argument of the NAACP that the NAACP is using black athletes is backwards. The states are the ones using black labor, black talent again, filling those stadiums to fill the stadiums and their bank accounts, while they're actively diluting black political power. So the NAACP isn't necessarily naming, they're not creating the dynamic. They're actually naming it. They're telling you that you can't use our kids, especially the ones, if you got a kid that's going to school, even right now, they're a pawn. they're a pawn in the game. They're looking to make a name for themselves at the school. They're looking to be productive citizens by going to school. They get the scholarship, all this other stuff. They're working hard. They're working their tail off, but they're being used. They're being used as pawns in order to make sure that other people are paid off. So the states are the ones that are using black labor. They were using black power. They're using black talent. And I think even D.L. Hughley was right. He said if top tier athletes stop going to Alabama and Georgia, ESPN, university presidents, and this is true, like would it take us as talented athletes, black talented athletes, to stop going to these schools in order for them to realize that the conversations are the conversations that have to change in order for would it take us as athletes for us to change their bank accounts? Would it take us to go back and do something different for them to realize that money does talk? That money, if we stopped playing, money does talk. Money, it will move the barometer, and we'll stop using, and they'll stop using our kids as pawns. And our kids, all they want to do, they don't even understand this fight. They'll stop using us as pawns. So if our athletes stop going to Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, you name it, some of the top universities, would the university presidents and the chambers of commerce, would they be having a different conversation right now? And they're black athletes that got scholarships, facilities, medical care, and a path to the NFL or NBA through those very programs. Through all those programs that, like all the scholarship programs, our kids have carved a path to the NFL, to the NBA, and other places through those particular programs. So the NAAC's decision to boycott isn't necessarily abstract for a 17-year-old from a family with no other options. But the tension is real, and we all have to say it. If we stop playing and if we stopped playing at PWI schools and we went over to traditional HBCU schools and we start playing there, then the dial would change. The dial would definitely change. We will have leverage. So this isn't a fight. This isn't a fight for just rights in the NIL contracting, the name, image, and likeness contracting, but it is a fight to have some level of power given back to our black athletes. It's meant to not allow our black athletes to have to be used as pawns in a political fight in order for people to move voting rights and redistrict. This is what they're really trying to do. Is they're really trying to redistrict the voting districts in those areas: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. So we as, and I say we as black athletes because I was one, we have to make sure that if we're going to stand up, at the very least, demand money for us playing these sports, then we have to come together and not just under an NAACP banner, but a banner that will allow us to have and to move the conversations through these PWIs, and so in terms of those schools that we want to go to. So if you want to go to Duke, you want to go to North Carolina, they have to pay up. They have to pay. That's at the very least. We got individuals who are going to school, young kids. They don't even have medical care. They don't have certain provisional needs in order for them to make it through school. Let's go to the chat. I'm gonna go to the chat because I haven't been to the chat in a minute. I'm gonna come back to you, Baybar. So Reginald Jones said, "I see y'all all groovy grapeviners. I'm here in a sweater." Baybar said, "I'm here in a sweater." Reginald Jones said, "Check on all the elders. Make sure they're kept cool and comfortable with plenty of cool, fresh water for them to drink." That's a command from the Most High. Receive the blessings by being the blessing. That's true. Make sure their AC units are working. Baybar says that. That's true. Reginald Jones said, "We have temperatures about to climb into the high 90s all week. Be especially diligent with the children and the elders." Baybar said, "Pets too at Reginald Jones said, "Keep an eye over the critters. The plant life needs human assistance occasionally too." That's true. So if you have plant life and you're not watering it, make sure you're watering it. My lawn is heavy water early in the morning. Baybar says that. Don't forget the potted plants. For you water sports types, Reginald Jones said, for you water sports types, wear your Coast Guard approved flotation device. Don't get goofy out there while riding the waves. And make sure you're not wearing the Pooh Shiesty mask, Baybar said. Reginald Jones said about to go take 3 salt packets along with 2 quarts, half a gallon of water. That's right on. Reginald Jones said July is about to happen. Reginald Jones said, put that 211 still reserve down or else somebody gonna have to pick them up. Those are sauced and sloppy of that silly sauce. Drinking booze and direct sunlight is a death sentence, right? Baybar says, do they even attend school? I think our kids are probably attending school, man. You get there, and especially when you meet a little bit of money, it gets hard to attend school. I mean, you're a kid, you go on to trying to make that happen. But there are kids who go there that are serious. Some of them really, really serious. And this is the only break that they will have, especially in their young lives. So, and they got to make it happen. I would. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come right back. When we return, we got 3 topics left, and they're all gonna connect to the same thing. So, what you're being sold, what you're not being told, and how to protect yourself. The iPhone study in your food, and the most toxic stretch of land in America. Y'all do not move.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Yes. Welcome back to the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir. Let's talk about the iPhone. Yes, I'm concerned because the iPhone is very it's interesting. It's not just the iPhone, but the iPhone carries a interesting tune in its history. As the economist, it was this economist called, her name is Caitlin Myers, and this kid, Ezekiel Hooper, tracked the iPhone rollout from 2007 to 2011. And that's when I remember this too, because that's when the Apple iPhone, of course, had exclusive U.S. carrier rights. So AT&T had exclusive carrier rights with the iPhone, and counties with stronger AT&T coverage saw steeper birth rate declines, which is I don't know. This is a wild study that they took, but they said that a placebo test on Verizon and Sprint showed no similar effect. So basically, iPhone access correlated. So the iPhone, when you're on your iPhone, the access correlated with a 4.5 to 8% reduction in births among teens between 15 and 19. This is from the study. I'm not saying go and get pregnant. And 3.2 to 6.6% drop for people ages 20 to 24. So what they're saying is the iPhone is linked to 1/3 to 1/2 of America's entire fertility decline between 2007 and 2011. So I'm going to repeat what they said, that Caitlin Myers and Ezekiel Hooper, they tracked iPhone rollout from 2007 to 2011, and they said that the iPhone access correlated with the reduction in birth rates among teens. So the iPhone is linked to, for what they're committing, the iPhone is linked to 1/3 to 1/2 of America's entire fertility decline between 2007 and 2011. So I think the report is basically saying, like, when you're on your phone and the pervasiveness that is leaked through your phone, especially during that period of time in which they could track, like they could track what's going on on your phone. Well, they can now. They could then too. But they were saying that the decline in fertility dropped almost dramatically between 2007 and 2011, and they were saying also there were people doing less socializing, so people weren't forming their own groups and relationships. People weren't meeting each other out. They were just sitting there on their phone, and so they were able to track this. They were able to go back into their data sets and track this. There was more access to contraception information. So on your phone, they were saying that there was a lot of contraception information. In the researchers' words, they said smartphones basically put pornography in everybody's pocket. So you could go to your phone, pick up whatever it is, pick up porn, and get to it without having to form a relationship or whatever it is you need to do in order to satisfy your physical and human needs. That's wild. I think that's so crazy though, because if you look at it, loneliness is one of the ways in which people are using loneliness and the phone as a way to say that they're staying busy. In reality, loneliness and the phone, not only do they parallel each other now, but they're also it's contagious and it's also detrimental. Now they're finding out that being alone with your phone is detrimental. Now this can be, it's probably a controversial take. A lot of people may be like, man, why this subject? Why are they studying this? But I think we're all succumbing to the power of the phone. You don't have to go anywhere to find information. I remember having to go to the library and looking up, by the Dewey Decimal System, a book. And you still can do that ultimately. I remember having to call on your rotary phone or your dial phone, whatever, the button phone, in order to make sure that your friend is on, so you can go over and kick it with your friend. All of that is real life. Like, it's, if you are lonely right now, more than likely you do have a phone. And more than likely you're probably on your phone doing things that will keep you busy, whatever it is. You watching a movie, whatever it is, but you're not necessarily talking to somebody. If you didn't have that phone, then you would be out and about. You would have something to do. Your mind will be busy. You'll be, doing the things that need to be done. But now the phone has become a part of the conversation. Wait, I don't have my phone, so I got to run back to the house and get it. Everybody is guilty of that. Everyone. Oh man, where's my phone? There's been actual fights over phones. Like, you take my phone. I remember I was looking at Instagram, and this lady, she wound up having a fit over somebody taking her phone and throwing it. Now that's her property. Yes, I would have had a fit too, but the phone has become this information center that people are realizing, especially psychologists who helped develop the iPhone and all those apps that you have on your iPhone. They've learned that in order to keep people addicted, they got to keep that dopamine hit hitting at all-time highs. Like when you're done with your phone and you put it down, you're gonna instantly think about that phone, pick it up and jump on the app to make sure that the phone, you don't have messages that you're missing. So the bigger picture from this particular study is the U.S. general fertility rate has dropped 22% since 2007. And economists, housing researchers, child care analysts, researchers, they really can't fully explain it, but the iPhone may be the missing variable. It just may be something that, some of the researchers may want to look at. Apple released it in 2007 and no one called it a reproductive health device. And it may have prevented possibly more pregnancies than actual contraceptive in American history. So that's either like funny or super terrifying, depending on what you believe about this country's future. Milwaukee has one of the highest rates of single-parent households in the country. So if the iPhone is suppressing relationship formation and not just births, but actual relationships that lead to families, that's a conversation we need to have. And it's not just, it shouldn't just be in some research or some economics journal. The chat is going wild. Baybar said, just don't use your smartphone. Probably. Or Baybar said, I'm investing in apps. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can invest in apps. Hey, y'all, we're going to expand this topic when we come back from the break. Come right back.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
The performing arts do more than entertain. They bring the community together. From live performances and arts education to free community events, UPath helps support the organizations that keep southeastern Wisconsin vibrant. But it only happens because of people like you. Every gift helps keep the arts accessible and inspiring for the entire community. Join thousands of supporters and give today at upaf.org. UPath. One gift, regional impact.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message.
Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
Yes, and we're back to welcome to the Grapevine hour number 2. I'm your host, Manan Sabir, and this is 101.7 The Truth. I am glad you are here. Hour number 1, we were just talking about screen time and loneliness and how loneliness is one part of the equation of the fertility dropping, the birth rate declining in America, but also the correlation of the iPhone and its birth in 2007. That has taken researchers by storm, and there may be some more research related around screen time and mental health and the birth rate. There's some good news coming out. So hopefully we got some great conversation. So, we've all watched somebody scroll past a text from a person they actually like to watch a reel. The study just put a number on it. The real question we're sitting with is declining birth rate a crisis or just an adjustment? Because, some people say in the population health and on the right and on the left, one person says we have too many people. Another person may say that we don't have enough. But is this a blip, or is this an adjustment? I'm really excited to see whether or not this has something. But who does it benefit that we frame it as a crisis? And what would it mean to invest in people before expecting them to produce more people? Like, what would it mean to invest in people? Do we have to take the phone away? Do we have to what do we have to do in order to get people out of this loneliness framework so they can look up from their phones and notice the world, notice what's going on? There's a thread between the iPhone study and a broader conversation on loneliness as a public health crisis. So the Surgeon General called loneliness as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So that report is just, sitting there, and it's just being ignored. And loneliness has a variable of the phone. But we don't look at loneliness as something that's serious, but it really is. They even got people, there's plenty of businesses out here with individuals that have started. There's one guy in particular started a cuddle business. So you can hire this dude as a woman. He only, I guess, cuddles with women. You can hire him to cuddle with you. And he's not the only person. Like, it was another person in Japan who who will come over, you pay them, and they'll cuddle with you. Just because a person is lonely, they will get it done. And no funny business. Or there's another business of this guy. He started a business. I mean, I think it's making a lot of money too. He started a business where he'll go and walk with you just to for you to have a conversation. So I think there's something to go on in the loneliness conversation, but we'll see. We'll see. So y'all, I'm gonna take a switch. I'm gonna take a turn, and we're gonna figure out what's in our food. What is in our food? What's in your pantry? What I want to know. I want to know what is in your pantry, because we're in America. We kind of let everything go. We got processed foods. We got banned ingredients that are banned in other countries, but not banned here in America. We got PFAS they're called forever chemicals. I want to know what's in your pantry. Yellow 40, yellow 5, red 40, yellow 6. Even the European Union, they issued a warning label. They said yellow 5, red 40, and yellow 6 may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. That's the warning that the Europeans registered a long time ago. So these chemicals have an adverse effect on the attention in children. So in the US, there's no warning. It's still in the households. You look up Trix, what's the other one? Another colored whatever cereal, and you'll find yellow 40 or yellow 5, yellow 6, red 40 in all of these, blue whatever. You'll find these ingredients inside of those cereal boxes, and there's literally no warning that says to you that this may cause an attention deficit, Fruit Loops in children, and adverse effect on their activity. But if you go past the Canadian border, you go to the European areas, you'll find like those food colorings are not manufactured as forever chemicals, or they're not processed like that. They're actually processed from real life vegetables. So their reds are processed from beets. Their yellows are processed from like squash or something like that, lemon, and all so on and so forth with other colors. But we as Americans are so consumer heavy that we have to have snacks and cereals and candy with these particular ingredients. But also we do know that these chemicals or these ingredients have different taste. So if you gave us a different type of ingredient, like a beet red ingredient in our cereal, you'll understand. You'll understand there's a different taste. But you can also see the difference. You'll also be able to see the difference in your kids. You won't, I mean, allegedly, you won't have a kid who's on Ritalin, who needs these types of medications. Like this is very, very serious. BVOs, brominated vegetable oil, which is called Brevio, is used in some citrus flavored sodas. It's also banned in Europe, banned in Japan, like for decades. The FDA just finalized a ban in 2024, but it took more than 50 years. And 50 years ago, there was concern about the brominated vegetable oil, literally 50 years ago, older than me. We're just now getting it out of our system. So potassium bromate is used in bread and baked goods to make dough rise faster. But it's also banned in other countries like Canada, the UK, Europe, different parts of Europe, China, Brazil, and it's still legal in most states. But guess what? It's classified as a possible carcinogen. And you know what a carcinogen is? The ultra processed food reality is over 70% of the US food supply is ultra processed. So most research consistently links it to higher rates of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and depression. And communities of color, especially Black and brown folks, and lower income communities, because there are communities that aren't Black and brown that have real life low income. If you look at the communities in the Appalachians and different parts of the West, you'll find that. But individuals, communities that have less access to alternatives, this is not an accident. They're placing these chemicals in the food to place them in your community because they want the cyclical medical system to continue to work. They don't want you to cut it off. They want this system to work. It has to work that way. It doesn't work in the sense that if you say, hey, I need you to change the ingredients, and they put the right ingredients in the foods and the candy and all of that and the cereals, and then you start feeling way better than you did when those forever chemicals were in the foods. It doesn't work where they'll say, all right, we don't need you to come back. No, they need you to come back to the doctor. They need you to go back to the hospital. This is what they need. This is, my opinion. This is how the system works. So, hey y'all, I think that if you're looking to feel better, start thinking about these forever chemicals and look at changing your environment at home, but also changing the ingredients, changing how you look at the ingredients on your cereal boxes, on your food. Actually research some of that. You could take a picture of it with your phone, upload it to Google, and you'll find that there's a lot to be learned. So we're going to switch. We're going to take a little break. We'll come right back. We're going to talk about the PFAS, the forever chemicals, and find out what's going on with those when we come back on the Grapevine.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Grapevine. We had James on the line. What's up, James?
Hey, how's it going, brother? I just had a question to ask you. You know, I've been hearing you talking about the health stuff, which is cool, man. I dig that talk every day that you give to us. But I want to know, like, you talk about these forever chemicals. Is this kind of stuff in the food, like, my grandson, you know, he got some eczema. You know, he about to turn 3, and he was, you know, is that kind of stuff trigger that stuff or anything like that, or what have you?
You broke up about what causes it?
No, I'm saying, you know, you're talking about these forever chemicals and stuff in the food and everything, and I'm wondering, you know, like, does this stuff like help? You know, because my grandson's about to turn 3, and he's got this eczema and stuff. You know, where he be scratching a lot. So I want to know if, like, is any of that stuff what causes this stuff for these infants and anything?
Yeah, there's been links to it, and I'm not the professional. I'm always saying always consult the doctor. Doctors, you know, may know. Also, you can consult a nutritionist. I'm not the nutritionist, nor am I your doctor, but I do say from my and I just wanted to say that because we're on air, but I wanted to tell you that from my experience that when I took, my daughter off of certain ingredients that were causing her eczema and also my eczema, I was able to not have the outbreaks anymore. So she was, at one point we just had like one of those, months where we were just eating all kinds of crazy stuff. You just happen to do that. As a kid and as an adult, you get busy. Eczema started to show up probably after the 3rd week, and it got real bad for me. And so I took us both off of the candy. We were, had a lot of parties to go to that month. So like we weren't eating candy, none of that. We went down to like just eating fruits and vegetables. It cleared up. We kind of stayed out of the bath. You know how you take baths and stuff like that. So we did a lot of showers. What else helped was for me, and this is not health advice, but helped me. I I used a few products. I used like a shea butter mix with oh my gosh, man. What is it? I forgot the man. If we can get your information, if Zach, if you get Jane's information later on, then I can call him with the actual ingredient. But and we'll get your information. I'll send it over to you.
Okay.
But it was another.
I appreciate that.
No problem. It was another product that I used that actually got rid of it. So, it was called Silver something. It was Silver something, man. But I'm telling you, it worked. It worked, and we were able to kind of be relieved of our eczema. But to answer, and that was a long story short, but to answer your question, yes, I do think that those ingredients, that those forever chemicals that were in our clothes, to our food, not silver water, that was in our clothes and our food was here's the ingredient: colloidal silver. Thank you, Baybar, but colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is what I was using. I was using it as a spray. You can get it off of Amazon. And for me, I was using it as a spray, and as I was spraying it, then I would put like because when you itch eczema, when you itch the eczema, it can cause scarring. And
yes.
Yep. So I was using the gel and also the spray. So I'll put that on and then put on like a little bit of shea butter. But then I would switch from not using the shea butter to just using this to spray. So I would use it on where the affected area is all the time. And they use colloidal silver in hospitals when people have like bed sores and stuff like that. You can put that like gel in there, and it was like covered up with gauze, and man, it does work wonders. It's almost like Neurosporin on 10. So yeah. So if your grandson if your grandson feels like he's about to itch, put that on like right away and just teach him how to do it. He'll as long as you'll put it in his mouth, he can put it on there and make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been using like little venal stuff from out the store, that with the hydrocortisone.
Yeah, we used to do that too.
A hot second, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then he get irritated, and then he get back to scratching or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Take him off of there's the other thing I did with my daughter is like I used I started juicing like just real green vegetables and like kale, apples, and like cucumbers or something like that, like a little cucumber, and I would like strain it really good so it didn't have any particles in it, and then I just she'll drink it like a little little kid's cup. I just have her drink it every morning before she even ate anything, because then it help her flush everything out.
Oh, okay, man. Sweet deal, man. I appreciate this. Like, man, like even tomorrow, man, because he about to turn 3. You hate to see him go through these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Colloidal silver. If you can't remember anything else, COLLIDIAL silver, and then just go and purchase it off of Amazon real quick. It's literally a couple dollars.
All right, man. I appreciate the info, brother. Y'all keep him 100% black. Now I like it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so, hey, y'all, Forever Chemicals, they're real life. There's over 15,000 synthetic chemicals in the PFAS class, Forever Chemicals class. It's called Forever Chemicals because they don't break down. They don't break down the environment. They don't break down in your body. They just are there. So bottled water, got it. Your detergent, got it. Like, there's a lot of areas to cover, man, in this whole entire conversation. We don't have a lot of time. It's linked to cancer. It's linked to infertility. Yep. these are real life studies. I can't make this up. This is not my opinion. This is these are real life studies. These are things that people are talking about. One thing I know, what's his name is, as crazy as you think, as wild as you think Robert F. Kennedy is, he's addressing some of this stuff, some of the things that people haven't addressed in a really long time. So there is linked to thyroid disruption, is linked to immune suppression. So if you are getting sick regularly and you may be in an area or you may be taking in things from the environment and or food that has, and this is a possibility. It's not, it's not said and done. It's not what the doctor said, but there are studies, because it'd be a possibility that you're taking in PFAS. So, and also it's linking itself, they're linking PFAS to developmental delays in children. So if you feeling like you are experiencing some of these symptoms, check out I think there's a website, there is a app called Clearya, Clearya. Clearya. It's a free app. It's a free app and extension that kind of flags thousands of other harmful chemicals in everyday products. So while you shop online, it suggests safer alternatives. So hopefully you are looking at your life, but then also these, at the very least, looking at the chemicals that are in your pantry and or in your house, looking at those a little different when you go back home, or if you're home, you're looking at those a little different, because this is real. This ain't something that people are this isn't something that people are just putting out there. These are real life ingredients that are called forever chemicals. They're called PFAS, forever chemicals. So where they show up, they can show up in fast food wrappers, microwave popcorn bags. It's a lot. We're going to continue this topic when we come back. This PFAS chemicals, are they good or are they bad for you? I'm your host, Manan Sabir, and this is The Truth, 101.7. Let's take a break.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Manan Sabir, and you're on the Grapevine on 101.7 The Truth. And we're talking about food, PFAS, forever chemicals, and how they don't break down in your body, and how they're linked to cancers, infertility, thyroid disruption, immune suppression, and developmental delays in children. This is real life. This is real life. We here. They show up, these PFAS, they chemicals, they show up in fast. We're so used to it, and we're so used to going through life. We're so used to, going to the store, grabbing whatever it is, going to the fast food joint, grabbing whatever it is, and we're not even realizing how important and how inundated we are with PFAS and forever chemicals that can link us to or cause us cancer, infertility, thyroid disruption, immune suppression, and also developmental delays. You're not even thinking about that, especially in our Black and brown communities. This is important because PFAS, they show up in fast food wrappers, microwave popcorn bags, non-stick cookware called Teflon. Yes, and Teflon got a wild story in itself. We may talk about that later. But it was never made, Teflon was never made to be put on cookware at all. Stain-resistant clothing, some dental floss, not all of it, some dental floss, certain, women's menstrual products, infant formula, and there was this, yeah, man, it was this, the FDA just started testing infant formula under the, and if you want to look this up, they just started testing infant formula and how PFAS were showing up in it through this, I think it was this article called Operation Stork Speed, or this research called Operation Stork Speed. If you look that up, you'll be able to find that it said that 61 PFAS chemicals were found in food packaging globally that aren't even supposed to be in packaging. So just if you just look at the packaging, we're not even talking about the food, but actual packaging, it was found in those particular areas of food packaging. The Europeans, it's crazy how we think other people are backwards, but those folks are leading the way, because if you look at the Europeans, they're banning PFAS in food packaging starting in August. I think, it's coming up real soon. So they're starting in August. And it's wild. So the U.S. is still debating. California and New York have some bans, and Wisconsin does not. Wisconsin, what's up? California and New York are leading the way. They're thinking about banning PFAS. How do you think about banning a forever chemical? You can't just haul off and ban it. It doesn't have it. You just can't just be like, all right, man. You know what? This causes cancer. We're just gonna ban it. How do you think about something that causes a disruption in the human chromosome, the DNA of a human? How do you think about that? What goes into a state, like what goes into a government's mind when they say, you know what, man, I'm thinking about it. We thinking about banning this cancer causing chemical from your packaging, from just the packaging. We're not even talking about the food. We're talking about the packaging. Man. Al, what's up?
Well, what goes in the government mind is a junkie that gets high on coke and dope trying to tell you about your health. That's what goes in the government mind. I heard you talking about chemicals. Another chemical that messed the kids up is when people fornicating on coke and dope when they make their kids. That's why their kids come here be able to be approved for Ritalin and crazy checks. Oh. And you know they're not considered an adult till they're 25 because they have all the elevators, but crazy it's a couple of floors that's missing. So maybe you might not want to do that X pill or that perk pill or do that cocaine when you get ready and make that child. Though your stress level for pain can be high, but your kid gonna come here where the circuit breakers are effed up. It's like having a house, but you only got 2 circuit breakers, so now his mind cannot function. And see, it also, the thing is, some of y'all who don't want to deal with y'all kids, stop putting y'all kids on Ritalin and put a belt on them. So you have to understand, Ritalin came out back in the 80s and 90s during the foster kid era, because whenever it was a church, you had four or five of the church members with 3 to 4 foster kids, because that's how they got them raggedy Cadillacs and conversion vans and them Benzes with the maintenance light on. But if you really want to be about health for your kids, just watch what you feed them and give them love. See, Ritalin is used when kids are out of control and your belt take the control, okay? But otherwise, just pay attention to what you eat because it's going to be harming everything you do. Whether you're eating something with a chemical or you're sleeping with somebody who's nothing but a chemical, because it's only 4 DNAs, and all DNAs do that. All 4 DNAs does not mix. That's why a lot of times y'all be itching because you think you got gonorrhea or chlamydia, but it's the bloodline that's not met. Yes.
Man, that's deep. I appreciate it though. You
have a good day.
Hey,
stop going deep.
Hey, look, that's what it's about. Going deep. Oh, thanks, Zach. Yeah. So, that Al, you right. Some part of it is right. You got to take a look at Ritalin is also a form of coca. So yeah, we're putting, and this is my opinion, we're putting that in our kids. You gotta take that out, some way, somehow. That's what Al is saying. Al is trying to tell you, man, put the belt to the task. But I don't condone it. I don't necessarily condemn it. I'm like right in the middle. I wish that people would understand kids, make sure you talk to them. I know a lot of times it's hard, especially with these forever chemicals, running around our kids' bodies from head to toe. It's a little hard. They like to move around. And those forever chemicals like to move around too. So make sure that you're doing your best. You're doing your best. But I want to tell you, there are a few apps that if you really want to take control right now If you want to take control of these PFAS right now, Clearia, it's a free app. Go get it, download it, and it helps you locate other harmful chemicals and in everyday products, and it works while you shop online. So, for example, it suggests safer alternatives. It's a free browser extension. You can scan a food or cosmetic barcode. So, for example, you can get an instant health reading. It's widely used in other countries. Let's make it grow here in the United States. Yuka. Defend Our Health is a nonprofit tool. So that pulls data from like a place like Maine, Maine's PFAS reporting law to show you which brands, because Maine is pretty much a healthy state. It's small too, healthy, small state. So it helps disclose which brands have disclosed PFAS in their products. And then EWG Healthy Living App. EWG Healthy Living App is EWG stands for Environmental Working Group, and it has a database of food and personal care products for free, literally for free. And it's been around the longest, and it has the broadest database. So remind yourself that if you're out and you're doing your thing and you're shopping and all that good stuff, just know that we don't have a food problem in America. We have a regulation problem. Like when Europe bans something, we say Americans should do their own research. But then we're surprised when chronic illness rates keep climbing. Individual consumer choice is not a substitute for policy. So you shouldn't need an app to not poison your family. I'm gonna say that again. You shouldn't need an app to not poison your family at all. You should really be doing the right thing. So, real quick, we're gonna take a real quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna look at a place right on the Mississippi River where the cancer rates are so high that they literally named this stretch called Cancer Alley, and it connects directly to everything, literally to everything. So we just said about what's in your air. We just talked about what's in your air, what's in your water, and your food. And now we're going to be back in 2.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The African American Roundtable, Black-led organization on Milwaukee's far northwest side, has launched a safety campaign rooted in the basic need of food access. It's called Feed the Change MKE. Through community engagement, AART learned that easy access to and education about locally sourced and fresh food would help people feel healthier and safer. Also, local food providers need to learn how to engage the community, build awareness, and stay in our community long term. So Feed the Change MKE encourages people to know, grow, prepare, and share food, especially from community-owned and operated stores, gardens, markets, and other culturally relevant sources. We can't rely on big corporations to meet these needs. That's why we must demand the city to invest $1 million into the Healthy Food Establishment Fund, formerly called the Fresh Food Access Fund. Join AART's campaign to win a dignified and choiceful system that we all can thrive in. Visit aartmke.org to learn more about Feed the Change MKE.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. that taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. Now you're witnessing a comeback.
Woo, that song is dope. Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday, 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Bailey Coleman and Homer Blow for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they're located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local businesses and the communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Bailey Coleman and the legendary Homer Blow. Powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. And American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of The Truth for almost 100 years. They've been committed to helping families protect what matters most: your home, your vehicle, and the dreams you're building every single day. And if you're part of the Truth audience, you already know you work hard for yours. That's why having the right protection in place matters. American Family helps you stay ready for whatever life brings so you can focus on moving forward. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. An 85 to 184 mile stretch of the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Over 300 industrial facilities. Yep, that's right. Over 300 industrial facilities. Petrochemical plants, refineries. Hopefully my people in New Orleans listen to this, because I ain't know this. Refineries, chemical manufacturers. It produces 25 of the entire U.S. petrochemical supply. And the people living next to it, 504. And the people living next to it, like literally predominantly black and brown and low-income communities, mainly located on the literal footprints of former plantations, former slave plantations. It's wild. I mean, this is wild. When I heard about this in terms of Cancer Alley, there was a report about how the water and its tributaries that leading up to the Midwest Canada area, but primarily the Midwest, kind of like that area has a high rate of people who are acquiring cancer. This is deep. So cancer risk from air toxins in that corridor, in the alley, not just in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge area, but up that whole corridor all the way up to Wisconsin. And you already know Wisconsin. You got, I think, Missouri right there. So St. Louis is on the water. It's 80. It peaked at 80 to 826 cases per million. So every million people, 826 cases in that particular corridor are cases of cancer. And so it's 27 times the EPA's, the Environmental Protection Agency's threshold. So residents in that area, especially between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and then going up that way, have a greater chance of developing, not just in New Orleans, but up the Mississippi, like all those tributaries, So leading into Milwaukee. So this is real life. Leading into Milwaukee. Residents in that main area face a 95% chance, not to say this is what it is, but or this is you're going to get it, but they're saying you have a 95% greater chance of developing cancer than just the average American. We're leaving out all the coasts, so we're leaving out the East Coast, we're leaving out the West Coast. So there's some research that said that it's actually 7 times the national average of people getting cancer, with direct links to the concentration of those specific industries. But it's not just cancer; it's triple the national rates. This has caused triple the national rate of low birth weight and preterm birth. So people in those areas and that are attributed to the tributaries, the lakes and the water that kind of feeds that area or that feeds, the states, those folks are coming down with, and this is, not just cancer, but low birth rate kids, preterm births, respiratory disease, autoimmune illnesses, reproductive failure, and much more, and also including cancer. So children are growing up breathing multiple carcinogens from the day they're born, meaning that, we can talk about asthma, we can talk about, suppressed immune systems. All of that is a part of these types of toxins, all coming from petrochemical companies that are basically throwing their waste in the water on either side, and also have really harsh air quality control mechanisms. They're putting that stuff right in the air. So in April 2025, Donald Trump his administration instructed the EPA to reverse their air toxicity rules, and it was finalized in 2024. The rules were finalized in 2024, but the rules that would have reduced what they call ethylene oxide emissions by 80%, the companies were given a 2-year pass. So he basically gave the companies where he asked them to reduce their emissions by 80%. He basically gave them a pass. So they didn't really reduce the emissions. And none of the communities in and around those areas, from New Orleans to Baton Rouge on up the tributaries of the Mississippi and those communities around the Mississippi, no one consulted any of those communities at all. So people are coming down with very, very bad cases of what I just read above. Cancer, what else? Low birth rate, weight, preterm births, respiratory disease, autoimmune illnesses, reproductive failure, asthma in kids. Like this is real life. And I think we're looking at kind of a sweep under the rug we're looking at a sweep under the rug for pay. It's quite simple. I'm going to pay you to push this under the rug as a lobbyist in order for our companies to have an extra pass. And we don't even know what political addendums are on that particular pass. So the Supreme Court, a case came down regarding Chevron USA and this and in this place called Plaquemines Parish, one of the Cancer Alley parishes in New Orleans. And it's suing the oil companies for coastal land loss, and the Supreme Court said it's federal jurisdiction, not state. So it's kind of setting a precedent that will take a lot of years to unwind. Meanwhile, the land is still going into the Gulf. So yeah, this is real life. So those communities that are living on the Gulf, they subsist on the Gulf in and around that parish in New Orleans, but not just in and around the parish in New Orleans, but also they also have to address the places that run north, like on the Mississippi, because the Mississippi runs north. So meanwhile, those lands that are being affected are going into the Gulf. The water is taking over. We gotta think about this, y'all. Like, this is Milwaukee even sits in a place. I remember this environmental nurse. Her specialty was in environment, and she said that Milwaukee sits in a place where we have, we can get a lot of chemicals, environmental chemicals in the air trapped over us, and it can cause depression. I mean, she named a whole list of it, asthma, all kinds of stuff. I remember that conversation to this day, and I know that she's still around. I wish I could have her on the show if I could find out where she is. But when we come back, we're going to talk about forever chemicals, the Mississippi, and Cancer Alley that runs to the Midwest. Let's take a break, y'all. This is the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir. Let's go.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like, it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Manan Sabir of the Grapevine, and we are at the last hour. It's 3 o'clock, and I hope you know where your kids are. This has been cool. This has been cool. A cool day. I'm happy. Super happy. So I've been talking about health all day, and we just are in the middle of a topic called ingredients, and we went from the ingredients to this place called Cancer Alley. And Cancer Alley is an area that runs from New Orleans area to the top of the Midwest area, kind of like top of near Iowa up to Mississippi, basically. And Cancer Alley has a number of tributaries that lead from New Orleans up the Mississippi, and those tributaries are kind of in and around that they touch the Mississippi River. And those tributaries, which are kind of like the offshoots of the Mississippi, they have communities attached to them, of course. People like to go fishing and hunting and all that good stuff. Cancer Alley is being poisoned by petrochemical companies in the New Orleans, between the New Orleans and also the Baton Rouge area. Chemical manufacturers, refineries, they basically produce the 25% of the entire U.S. petrochemical supply. And the people living next to it are usually black and brown and or low income people who are in the literal footprints, and a lot of these places are on the literal footprints of former slave plantations. So go figure. Might as well just keep the thumb on. We're not even talking. We talk about a lot of other stuff, but this is one of the things that they're continuing to do. So President Trump instructed the EPA to reverse air toxicity rules, and they finalized it in 2024. But he gave a pass to the companies. He wanted them to be reduced by 80%. That's what was said. But he gave a pass to the companies for 2 years, all the companies, and no communities were consulted. So fast forward to us, and how that affects us is the Mississippi runs north. So the Mississippi does not run south. It runs up, or what we would consider up, or over. Some people call it over. The tributaries from Cancer Alley, they reach the Midwest. And so what happens in the Louisiana's chemical corridor doesn't just stay in Louisiana. It moves through all the water systems that are attached to the Mississippi. the sediment, and the food chain. So Milwaukee sits on Lake Michigan, which connects to the Great Lakes, which connects to the entire freshwater corridor of North America. This is a real problem. This is a real problem. We're not just people swim in these waters. They still, fish in the Mississippi. There's people who are right now on the Mississippi fishing in the Mississippi River. They're also fishing in the tributaries. So the water just doesn't move up in one straight line. It goes and it goes to our particular systems and also moves through our food chain. Milwaukee, like I said, we all know, sits on Lake Michigan. If you've never been to Lake Michigan and you live in Milwaukee, deal with it. Go east. Just start walking. Go east. Lake Michigan connects to other Great Lakes, which connects to other entire corridors of fresh water in North America. So this is an environmental justice look. An environmental justice and it's an environmental justice story for Milwaukee. Look at the 30th Street corridor, the Menominee River Valley, communities who have been living adjacent to industries and its health consequences for generations. It's the same pattern. It's the same pattern, same attitude, same latitude. When you live next to a vein of industry, you're definitely going to have feel some effects. If you live next to a train line, if you live next to a airport, all of that has some type of effect on you. You can't get away softly. It's going to hit you. So they didn't call this Cancer Alley to be dramatic. They didn't call it like, hey, we're going to name it Cancer Alley. They called it that because people are getting cancer. And this is a well-studied topic. And the response from this, the state government or state governments, for example, like the Louisiana Department of Quality or whatever, equity, quality, the federal government and the companies themselves has been like, they have said straight up that they don't believe that people are getting cancer at all. They don't believe it. So they're going to continue to, they're going to continue to go. They're going to continue to make it happen. This is wild. This is wild. This is an atrocity, and I think folks need to wake up because we don't want to have. We already are dealing with high level amounts of kids that have lead poisoning. You have kids who have kids and people that are directly affected by these particular chemicals that are in the system in our water system. So we're going to take a break from that. I'm going to try to give you a break from our ingredient talk, but make sure that you check your ingredients, check the water that's coming out of your faucet, check the ingredients that are even your air quality at home. There's ways to check the air quality. So please get it together. Get it on. Fight back. Real quick, not real quick, but this is very serious because I'm trying to figure out, there's been 2 earthquakes that struck Venezuela in literally 39 seconds. One was 7.2, the other one was 7.5. And so they said this was the strongest earthquake since 1900s. And they said one state in Venezuela, there were 1,400 buildings that were destroyed. This is very sad. They said that the main international airport is really, really damaged. The buildings collapsed in Caracas, and including structures housing the French embassy and the Venezuelan Red Cross. So they said at least 1,400 plus people are confirmed dead, but over 68,000 reported missing at peak. But they said the real estimates are around 50,000 people that have been missing. Man, this is, I don't know what to say, because I know a number of Venezuelans, especially from my time living in the South. And my shout out to y'all is hold up, be careful, make sure that you're looking over the people that are around you, love on those folks, and continue to hope for the best. Don't lose out hope. And if people are raising money, and try to make sure that you guys are participating in that. So that there's a 72-hour window pass. Usually, 72 hours means that that window means that it's past the window of survival. So rescuers have pulled about 33 people alive. An 11-year-old boy, they said, was found 10 feet underground. So, the U.S. said that they're sending in some response funding and stuff like that. I think that this is of grave importance, because not only are we going through an environmental change, but there have been, I think, what they call where the earthquakes went on. I think it's called like the Ring of Fire or something of that nature, or in and around the Ring of Fire, where all these coastal areas have been hit with earthquakes in the last couple of weeks, and this is not stopping. They've continued to get aftershocks in Venezuela. So this is a real thing, and it struck on a holiday. So a lot of people were indoors, and a lot of buildings were collapsed on people that were just laying low. But that the lesson we think about, like building codes, infrastructure, investment, like a functional government, emergency systems aren't luxuries. They're what determines who lives and who dies when the ground moves. And just because we live in a place like Wisconsin, or you feel like you live in a place that doesn't get earthquakes, yes, you do. Like, we have a fault line that's really, really close. So, yeah, and not too long ago, Wisconsin did have an earthquake. Not a big one, but I know it was something that was not as significant, but it was felt by some folks. And when we come back, we covered a lot of ground, and I want to connect some dots and give you some things that you can actually do. So, community, stay tuned to the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir. This is Truth 101.7. Let's take a break.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakomick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakomick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Grapevine. We're going to keep praying for Venezuela and keep that story alive. But right now, we have to pivot to something that broke today here at home because the Supreme Court just handed a decision down this morning that every single person listening to me right now needs to understand. And this is not a political story at all. This ain't politics. This is a who controls your life. This is a who controls your life story. And it's real because I got a story to tell later on. So basically in a 6-3 ruling along some ideological lines, the Supreme Court ruled and overturned a 91-year-old precedent called Humphrey's Executive versus the United States. So the ruling had protected members of independent federal agencies from being fired. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. The ruling had protected individual federal agencies, members of federal agencies, from being fired by the president for any political reason. And that protection, they wiped it out. So the president can now fire at will. He can fire anybody at will for any reason, no explanation needed. So the leaders of agencies that regulate almost every aspect of your life, the Federal Consumer Protection Agency, like the FTC, that's Consumer Protection, the EEOC, the Workplace Discrimination Department, the Labor and Union Rights, the NLRB, the FCC, what you hear on this radio station, the Consumer Product and Safety Recall, the NTSB, which is like the plane crash investigation organization. They're no longer independent. at all. I'm going to repeat that. These organizations, independent organizations are no longer independent. The FCC, the FTC, the Consumer Protection. This is real. You may not even think about the ramifications of this, but this is huge. The EEOC, the product and safety recall place organization, the labor and union rights. These are no longer independent organizations, and the president, your president, President Trump, can fire whoever is on those organizations and replace those folks that are independent of him, that were independent of him. He can replace them with the people that he wants in those seats. So the court ruled 5-4 that Trump cannot yet fire the Federal Reserve governor, but he's gonna find a way. And Trump's response was like, basically, it took y'all long enough, but we were gonna get it anyway. He said, but this is historic, y'all. This is like, and it's not just a good way. So basically, the EEOC. So if you filed like a workplace discrimination complaint, you're in trouble. Sexual harassment, racial discrimination, disability discrimination. The agency reviewing your case now answers to the White House. So if your case is politically inconvenient, a whole new commissioner can be installed who deprioritizes it overnight. This is, I don't know. We're jumping down the rabbit hole. We are jumping down the rabbit hole. This is real. The EEOC, after all this time, I know this one guy, it was a story about this one guy who he did this probably like 9 or 10 times, where he went to his job and the job didn't have, they discriminated against him. So he filed a discrimination lawsuit against 9 of his employers, and he wound up suing those employers and winning the cases. So cases like that, if they don't go in the favor of whatever the president says or, what he thinks, then a lot of those cases are going to be thrown out and people are not going to prioritize it. I think that's an extremist view, but in this case, possibly not. The NLRB, so Milwaukee has one of the most active union organizing landscapes in the Midwest, and so like healthcare workers, teachers, food service, warehouse workers at like Amazon fulfillments, all of them depend on the National Labor Relations Board to protect their right to organize. That board is now political. So y'all ain't got no rights. It's highly political now. You ain't got no rights. This radio station, you have the right to diverse media, and the rules that prevent one billionaire from owning everything on your dial, the FCC sets them. And now the FCC is now controlled by, yep, you guessed it. Y'all, you think this is a straight gotcha moment. Yes, you're right, Robert Lance. Gotcha. Like, definitely. He came with it. Like, whatever happened in the Supreme Court, man, they ruled, they got him. Now the FCC can do whatever they want, according to him. The recall commission, that agency that does like toy recall, like flags, dangerous cribs. It pulls hazardous products from shelves. Is now political. It is now political. So imagine like a product safety recall that would, embarrass a president's donor. Like Mattel. Or Kellogg's. Or I don't know. You just think about it. If it embarrasses his donor, if it embarrasses people who have donated to him, foreign and or on land, on our land, yes, it's all political, and you may not hear about it. So the justice, they said the result is a president who emerges with far greater power than ever before. It is a power, however, that neither the people nor Congress nor Constitution bestowed upon him. She said the majority upends his precedent, misconstrues our history, and sheds any pretense of political modesty. I'm just going to let that sit for a second, y'all. This is like a justice that said the result is a president who emerges with far greater power than ever before. He stuck it like he went in like with the Gophers, and he came out head of the Gophers. This is really, really bad. This is very, very bad. We should be talking about this in the barbershops. We need to talk about this real, because if we don't have individual or independent agencies that are controlling these, controlling the rulings, the all of this that we actually care about, if we don't have these independent agencies and they're subjected to political expansion from Trump's administration and political governance, then we're going to be in trouble, straight up. And hopefully we take a step back. We study how we can understand power in America as a people and look to do something different, because different is what we're going to need. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come right back, and maybe we'll find a story that's local or something like that, or national, something that's really personal. So we'll be right back.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. It's a challenging time to be a black leader in America. Recently, my colleagues at Bloomberg Business Week brought together a group of prominent black executives to talk about how they're navigating the White House, rollbacks to DEI initiatives, and the current mood in America surrounding race. Chris Williams is chairman at Siebert Williams Shank & Company. He said tribalism and political division is playing into how diversity is being perceived.
There are mindsets that are pro and con DEI that are becoming more entrenched, one side or the other, because aside from race, on every aspect of American life, the differences, the gulf between one viewpoint and another viewpoint is more entrenched and clear.
Williams says the U.S. is philosophically divided on a number of issues. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Like how we do it. Oh, yeah, let me get to it. Keep it 100, I am the toy. Oh, yeah, let me get to it. I get a check and I'm running right through it. Oh, yeah, let me get to it. 10K in a day, I said fuck it and blew it. Oh, yeah, let me get to it. Nobody doing it like how we do it. Oh, yeah, let me get to it. Keep it 100.
Yes. Welcome back. Get ready. 101.7 The True Family Fest is back. Join us Saturday, August 22nd. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School for free back-to-school resources, live entertainment, family activities, and community fun. Vendors and sponsors can reserve a spot by emailing sierra.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. And this is proudly sponsored by Educators Credit Union, and American Family Insurance is a proud sponsor of The Truth. For almost 100 years, they've been committed to helping families protect what matters most: your home, your vehicle, and the dreams you're building every single day. And if you're part of the Truth audience, you already know you work hard for yours. That's why having the right protection in place matters. American Family helps you stay ready for whatever life brings so you can focus on moving forward. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Yes, and we're back. ICE is back. ICE is back. ICE is in Milwaukee. ICE they not thawing out at all. They back, man, and it's kind of wild. So, yes, the number is 52. That's how many people have died in ICE custody since Trump took office in January of 2025. 52 since January of 2025. And one of those families is right here in Wisconsin, and we got to talk about it. In the 500 days since Trump's second inauguration, 52 people have died in ICE custody. The mortality rate has more than doubled compared to his first term. It's nearly 4 times the rate under Biden. And it's now higher than during COVID. The Human Rights Watch, the ACLU, and the UN Security General for Human Rights have all called for independent investigations. So ICE currently holds over 60,000 people in detention. That's up 70% from when Biden left office. So it was pretty much empty, and now the detention centers are up. The detention center percentages are up by 70%. So the administration plans to expand, this administration plans to expand up to 90,000. So more people detained means more people could possibly die. And this math ain't mathing. This math ain't mathing. And it's not politics. This is this is a human rights issue. So a man who repeatedly asked for medical care for like a toothache, given only ibuprofen, he died of septic shock. A 41-year-old man who had worked with the United States military, he died less than 24 hours after being detained. And a 55-year-old Cuban man, the medical examiner ruled homicide by asphyxia. Witnesses said he was choked while they saying that he couldn't breathe, and ICE called it a suicide attempt. This is real. This is real. So today's latest, a young lady, 63 years old, from Mexico, she became the 20th ICE death reported this year. She was found unconscious in a detention center in Texas. And it was operated by a for-profit prison company. That's the problem. These for-profit prison companies, man, they're doing some things that are really out of order, and we gotta do something about it. Like, I know, really a great way of reformation isn't just to lock somebody up. It's not just to lock somebody up. You have to, work with them in order to get them to come to the other side. You got to work with them. Therapy works. Therapy does work, but this is not even the case. This is not even, ICE, they're not therapists. They're not people who are in the therapy realm. These folks are locking people up for they don't even have criminal records. No, not one charge, no infractions, no nothing. They're just locking people up because they feel like they belong in a different country. But if you ask anyone on ICE, where they're from, they're going to say America. But honestly, if you ask them their people's country of origin, either they will kind of know or they don't know. But majority of us are to this land are immigrants. We are alien to there's a lot of us that are alien to America. We just happen to have a couple of 100 years on folks that are actually born that aren't born in America and are born in other countries that are also seeking asylum from their land. So ICE arrested a young lady in Milwaukee of 36 years. Lived in Milwaukee for 36 years. They arrested her, and now she's in detention. ICE also rearrested a Sheboygan Falls mother after a judge halted her deportation and cleared her green card. Gave her protection. ICE came and got her. So this is a big thing. ICE is here. And if you think that, as we learned in Minneapolis, if you think that you are a naturalized citizen, American citizen, and you are immune to ICE's their jurisdiction, you're immune to their oversight, you're immune to their neglect. It's, just the case study in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul area is one for the record books. You can look and see what happened and is what is going on up there in right now. Individuals that have U.S. passports that are born on this land are being detained also. So we're not immune to that. This is not Mindful Movement Mondays for no reason. We have to discuss all of this, because if you are under duress, under some type of stress, and you have individuals that are coming after you from some level of government, then you don't have the mental real estate to be able to move around. You don't have the mental real estate to think. You don't have the physical real estate to move around, and individuals are chasing you because they feel like you need to be thrown out of the country, or they come up with something where your status has been there's a deadline on your status of being an American citizen. Man, this is out of order, and this is going to continue. And we're, think about it. We're headed into the 4th of July holiday. So I'm pretty sure that these efforts are going to ramp up, a couple fold. So we got to keep our eyes on this. We definitely got to keep our eyes on this. I'm going to keep my eye on it. I'm going to switch gears because this is real. This is real foul. This is a public emergency. We gotta stay aware and stay attuned to what's going on, especially these human rights failures on a mass scale. So the president had a state fair in Washington, D.C., and it went empty. Those commentators that were talking about it was 7,000 people, but the picture showed 700, but it was not a couple of thousand people at all. A couple thousand people probably walked past the state fair, but they did not go into that thing. And he was touting it. And I'm pretty sure that your tax dollars went to put on the state fair. It wasn't a state fair in, remember, I'm going to remind you, it wasn't a state fair in Wisconsin. It was not our state fair. Our state fair is, is popping, from compared to the Washington, D.C. White House America 250 birthday state fair. He even said, I wish I had to pull up the clip, but he even said that this state fair is going to be, one for the record books or something of that sort. Yeah, it went empty. They had a Ferris wheel. I think they said the pictures of the Ferris wheel was the only line that was packed. That was the only line, and it was like a basic line. So, hey y'all, like we at the very least we did what we could to make sure that people didn't go to that state fair, that Washington, D.C. White House State Fair. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back to our last segment of the hour. You're on the Grapevine. Let's get out of here.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at mda75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a united way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support, and where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Yes, we're back. Man, I'm so happy. I'm just happy. Hope y'all are happy too. You're on the Grapevine. I'm your host, Manan Sabir, and this 101.7 The Truth. The Truth. Yeah, we've been all over the place today, but we stayed on task because our theme, especially health, is real. Like we're dealing with things, serious and not serious, and I covered the earthquakes and the PFAS ingredients, and man, we made it through. So it's real stuff, it's heavy stuff, it's necessary stuff. But you know what? We, as black and brown people, as all people, we not only survive, but we create, we celebrate, we build, we laugh. We laugh a lot. So these last 15 minutes, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna just riff. I'm gonna riff a little bit, and I caught this interview. By Steve Zech with what's his name on Up All the Smoke, and it was with President Obama. They're asking President Obama whether or not Trump has the same attitude, especially after like President Trump posted his picture next to Obama's, and that was a crazy picture. But Obama basically was like, if Trump comes around him, he better not say anything crazy. And he said he was alluding to the fact that he doesn't say anything wild. Everything that he says on Truth Social and somewhere else, wherever he says it, he can't say it to Obama's face. And he said he better not. He basically was like, he better not say it to my face. Obama looked like he ready for that smoke. And I think he is. I think Obama ready for that smoke. He was like, I'm gonna build this center. I'm gonna say whatever I want to. I'm gonna go hoop in some Jordans with these cats. They got a presidential gym, basketball gym in the middle of the neighborhood. Now, whatever you can think about, whatever you want to think about the presidential center, it's up to you. It doesn't, I haven't formed a huge judgment on it right now, but they built it. They built it. They on June 18th, which happened to be on June, and then into June 19th, they opened it to the public, and the date wasn't an accident. It was a chosen date. So right on the south side of Chicago, and the lineup had I think they had Stevie Wonder, The Roots, Common, Jennifer Hudson, Tim's, Bono, who else? Bruce Springsteen, and other people. They said Stephen Colbert showed up in a tan suit. And if y'all remember the history behind the tan suits, Obama ain't had no controversy, basically no personal controversy in the history of his presidency, except for that tan suit. When he showed up in that tan suit, people started getting in his tail. They was like, man, why would he show up in the tan suit? I'm like, man. But you know what? He can show up in the walkway how he walk anytime, man. Like we're living in a time where we finally get to see a black man as president. You know what? It push come to shove, whatever the politics are, whatever you think about it, he did it. And so I want to acknowledge that we're living in 2026, and they opened up a building dedicated to the first black president, or what we consider the first black president, and it's free to walk through, and they built a other stuff along with it. I think is it a golf course? No, ain't a golf course attached to it. They got a basketball facility though. So Drewski, I know y'all seen Drewski on BT. I was holding this too. I know y'all see Drewski on BT. Drewski was funny as all get out. Drewski came out as Jay-Z. He came out and he came out and he was the co-presenter with he was a co-presenter with what's his name? Ice Cube. I'm forgetting all these names. He was co-presenter with Ice Cube, and man, let me tell you, they went at it was fire. In the meantime, as they're rolling out, as BT is playing this, Drewski rolls out on YouTube all of these trailers. He had one trailer called Joe, and it was a parody trailer of what would be considered a movie. It was a parody trailer for Joe Jackson. So he was imitating Joe Jackson, and he had the Jackson 5 as the kids. And y'all I don't even want to ruin you guys' experience in watching this because it was absolutely funny. But what I am going to ruin for you is like the logo for Joe Jackson had a belt under it. And he had a belt that was under the logo, which is kind of wild. So I like the fact. Shout out to Drewski though. He laid it out. Drewski laid it out, man. I like the fact that he's doing his thing. He's a hot up and coming young dude that's very funny. He's not afraid to step on people's toes comedically, and he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Man, y'all gotta check it out. I'm not even gonna ruin it for you, man. But I know he dropped something called British Actors Are Taking All the Roles. He dropped that in May. That was funny. That was real funny. And he played this dude named Samson Dubois. So it was a fictional black British actor from Manchester who keeps landing every major black American role in Hollywood. So the movie is called Release the Shackles, and he's in a cotton field. Acted in slaves, so the director yells, "Cut." And Samson, he immediately goes in a flawless Queen's English accent. So this role is sort of like it's kind of cheeky. He said this role is a bit cheeky. I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art. So then a fake TMZ ambush. They said better than who, bruv? black people, stop it. And then he swats the camera away. So, man, if you see that, if you actually see that clip or that, that was funny. Man, that was hilarious. I want to give it up to Drewski. Y'all give him a round of applause wherever you at and show him some love, because he's a dope dude. Shout out to Lauryn Hill. Like, she got the Living Legend Award. It was a tribute that had Nas, Queen Latifah, like Doja Cat. It was a lot of folks that came out and did the performance. Did the performance with her and also for her. So they were pouring back into Lauryn. So, man, I'm excited that she was able to be honored. But let me tell you something about us, though. We woke up today, a heat wave is trying to get us. It's on our back. It's on our heels. Y'all got to call the Batman to get the heat wave off of us. We got a Supreme Court ruling taking away the agencies built to protect us. We got people dying in detention centers with our tax dollars paying for the cage. We got a river down south that's been poisoning black communities for 40 years. And they named it Cancer Alley because the Mississippi goes up and they're pouring the money, the chemicals into the water, and the water's going up towards us. And we're not proud of it. In the middle of all that, Tiana Taylor got her Icon Award from Janet. Lauryn Hill sang X Factor. Barack and Michelle Obama opened the library. Drewski dressed up as Jay-Z. It was so funny, man. That's us. That is us. No matter the fight, the consequences, that is us. So we don't survive in spite of joy. We survive because of it. Because we figured out a long time ago that laughing is not the opposite of fighting. It is the fight. I'm Manan Sabir, and this is the Grapevine. I need y'all to stay connected. I need y'all to stay healthy, stay dangerous, stay peaceful. I'll see you next time. Guess what's up? Jazz is up next with the tap in. Holla.